All right. Welcome, Namaste.
Namaste.
I'm Crist, founder of the Jaguar Path, School of Yoga, Shamanism, and Martial Arts. We believe that these three ancient healing arts are technologies given to us that can allow us to reach an optimal state of being so we can engage more fully with life. So this series of interviews aims to get in touch with people that have many years of practice in yoga or in this world of looking inward to see their interview of these technologies. So with me today I have honored to have Miten, and yeah, I'm super excited to be here.
Thanks, man. We've planned this out, right?
I guess we did.
We made a plan.
I guess we did. I am super happy to be here, Miten. I know you have many years of practice, from being in ashrams to chanting to the divine name in so many ways, and with so many thousands of people. What has this journey been for you? How do you feel that this technology, if it's the chanting, the music, the yoga of it, how has it enhanced your life? Or
Well, I feel like to inspire you guys, whoever's listening, whoever's looking at us, and that's really, I guess, why we're here talking and looking to the iPhone. It's somehow to be an inspiration to whoever it is who's looking. And so your question, Ray, it's huge, because you go on a journey, and like all of us, that's the point. Any one of us can say we've been through big moments in our lives that has brought us to a place where we want to hear these two people talking about inner journey work. And to come to this space is no mean feat. It's no mean feat. It means we've all been through the fire in some way. That's why we're here. That's why we're thirsty for yoga, like Ray says. That's why we're thirsty for a sense of inner peace, And that's, for me, that's where I came from, looking for inner peace. And for me, I found it very unexpectedly, really, in music, because when I began my, I guess you could call it, journey of my soul, because before then I was a young man as a rock musician in London, and it had its ups, but it had some big downs, and it's not somewhere that you want to find yourself, for very long. And I liked everything that was there on a very basic first chakra level, but my heart and my being was just bursting out of my chest, and so I up and left, and that was no big easy thing, because that meant walking out on my family. That's not a nice thing. And it's very intense, and you only go there if you're either, for whatever reason, there are a million reasons why you would do that, and I of course have mine. Luckily for me, and blessed that my son and I are the best of mates, and he's now 44, but it was a big time for us, and he was just a little boy, and I ended up on a search, and it didn't take me so long. Once I realized that the music wasn't going to sustain me, the music industry, spiritually, I got out, and luckily for me, I read an amazing book. And the way books are signposts in our lives? That's what this book was. It was a book on Zen Parables. Mm-hmm. And it was transcriptions from some discourses by Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. Now this guy, back in the 70s, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh was kind of media guru, kind of archetypal, crazy sort of guru. That's the projection that the media put on him. In fact, he was very, very astute and very wise and beautiful man. Most misunderstood, as all gurus are, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's the projection that happens.
Yeah.
Putting people up in the pedestal and then tearing down the pedestal.
Well, yeah, but even when you talk as a guru, not everybody's going to be on the same wavelength as you, so
most likely not.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is Osho.
Well, that's why Osho never gave us any dogma. He didn't. Mm-hmm. He just talked us into meditation, and his talks would be very inspiring and very profound. But at the same time, there would be like hypnosis, so he would get so slow.
Absolutely.
And then he would carry on with his sentence, and in the meantime, you'd fallen into that space, and you could start to experience what it feels like to slow down, just slow down, And that was one of his main things. He would say, all I'm trying to get you to do is to slow down, and that's when we meet ourselves. Because we're always running, right? Mm-hmm. And how often do we slow down? How often do any of you sit down in meditation for an hour a day? And that's it. It's not easy. You have a million things to do, right?
Yeah, and I also think that slowing down is that what he did. Some films that I've seen of Osho, and that slowing down, and he was really hypnotic because he was in this higher state of being. And I feel what I felt is slowing down the narrator. It's not only the million things that we need to do every day, but it's the tens of thousands of stories we have rolling in our mind, recreating a reality that is essentially a lot of times of a victim, or a lot of times of this or that or that. Or I'm a bit high up there, or I'm low up there, and it's just like a narration. And I think meditation, or especially chanting, when we sit with you guys and meditate, when we listen to your music, it's that sense of like, that voice starts quietening down. Yeah. And you say, then you meet your real self.
Well, then you get chance to breathe, and to be aware of your breath, and this is whatever work you and I do, it's for that. Like for me, mantras are amazing. I mean, I tell you, when I first came to Osho, I stopped playing music. I sold my guitars. I didn't tell anyone I was a musician or had been. I chopped carrots and washed the rice for a year or so, and I just came home to myself. I did the meditations. I was in this environment of very intense inquiry, with such a depth of love and playfulness. So it was a very amazing place to find myself. It was the perfect place to heal and to deal with the guilt that I was carrying through leaving my boy. Everything was available, and that right up until the wild country, and where we got pulled out to the furthest part of ourselves, where we were disgraced in the eyes of the nation, because that's how it was, that there was a very heavy thing went down with that community, which I count myself as part of. But it was amazing what happened, because we all learned so much, not just us, but the people from Antelope, and that they won. They had this feeling of winning, and they got rid of the Red Scourge and they won, and it was a real American thing, and it was
the collective consciousness won.
Yeah, it was okay, and so everybody was happy in a way. Nobody got hurt, but it was great lessons, and that's what I like, and that's what I'm looking for when I talk to you or the people whose work I admire, it's, are you going to the edge with this? Or where are we, you know? And that's how it is with the mantras. It's like mantras, you have no, as a musician, you don't really have any control. It's like rubbing a genie lamp and the mantra flashes out and then you hang on. And you move, it could be languid, it could be, you know, it could be anything. And there's the guitar, and there's me and Deva, and we are in tune with that. This is our tantra. This is how we live. So there's a flow, and that flow keeps me as much as I can out of my busy mind.
That is beautiful. I'm just thinking like several parallels. First of all, it's beautiful to witness as neighbors now, your centeredness, your serenity, your breathing and attunement. And I also love to what you're saying about the edge, because again, I feel it's the edge of our personality, and our personality is what we've been instructed. This is the right thing, this is the wrong thing, this you should do or shouldn't, or no. It's really collective consciousness made. It's not necessarily attuned with a divine energy, and it kind of is always going to bring you into this inner conflict and lack of peace, because that's how it's constructed. So I love that, at the edge of personality, but you're at the precipice of your inner divine light at that moment. If you dare stay there.
Well, you know, the edge means dare you jump off. That's what the edge means, and then the personality is totally not interested in at all, you know. So the edge is where you jump off, and the edge is where you let go of any kind of idea that you control your life, you know, because I don't know if it's like that for everyone, but I couldn't have, honestly. I couldn't have imagined this moment if I, at 30 years old. I would never have been able to imagine this. I was a different guy, you know, and I didn't know where I was going. Not that I did then, but I had ambition and I had ideas, and they were all due. It's an interesting, that book that I read, No Water, No Moon, the Zen book on the Zen Parables, there was one parable there which is very relevant to me, and that is my life back then, and that's what got me to Osho. The Zen Parables said, Zen nun, her name is Chiono, she's going to the well to get water, and the story goes, she goes to the well, it's nighttime, there's a full moon, she goes to the well, she gets the water, she's making her way back to the monastery with the bucket of water. She looks in the bucket, there's the full moon, and at that moment the bucket breaks, and she realizes that she spent her whole life looking at the reflection of reality, not the real thing. And that was the symbol. She turned around and saw the full moon and became enlightened. And for me, that was my music in the bucket. That was my music industry. It was that full moon was a reflection. That was what I was looking at as a musician. And I knew the real thing was there, but I didn't know, I didn't know how or what or where. I thought this was the real thing, playing my songs and trying to be a rock star, you know. And when the bucket broke and I saw the real thing, and I said, okay, well, I read that and I thought, okay, I'm going to find this guru, because that's my story. And that's what got me there. I just went, I left my family, I left the record company, I left the manager, I left the publisher, I left the band. Nobody knew where I'd gone. I was gone, out into another world. That was the edge.
And crossing the edge. Yeah. Jumping off
the edge. That's
jumping.
That was jumping off. And I was caught. That's where I learned trust in life. I was caught.
I feel I knew several parallels we've had in our life, but that's a big one, where when I was diagnosed with 4th-stage cancer, I left my 2-year-old son and disappeared and traveled to Mexico and Peru to work with the shamans, and no one knew. And it's it's the pain of leaving a son is undescribable, and I feel you.
Yeah, I could see
My
that.
son is 18 and a really powerful 18-year-old guy. A really strong relationship. I feel it's matured him, it's matured both of us. But the edge of jumping off the edge was also that I did not know if I would come out of the jungle. I did not know if I would come back from Peru.
That's it.
And that's what it took to let go of my patterns.
Are you listening? Are you listening? Because that's the key.
It is.
You got to let go. You have to let go. And no matter, you can intellectualize it, and you can read about it, and you can read about it, and you can discuss about it, but until you let go, you're going to be
Finding the same thing.
you're going to be safe. But if that's what you want, and I'm saying that in a humble way, because I'm scared also of things, you know. But it's not that, you know. I mean, you know what I'm scared of is I couldn't imagine taking any more LSD. You know, I couldn't.
That's scary.
You know, yeah, it's really ayahuasca. I tried ayahuasca a few times, and it's amazing. But to make that jump into where I know, I'm like, I don't want to go there anymore. You know, I don't want to go there. And is that fear, or is that just being intelligent? And you know, intelligence as you get older, it's not.
It might be wisdom.
Yeah, it moves into wisdom. You know, intelligence. You know, because you forget you don't need to be intelligent. But wisdom is different. We strive for that, all of us.
Let me see if I can turn on the light.
Yeah, we can. We have to go over there, Ray.
Here. I could say it again. All right. So
There we are.
here we are again. Welcome back, Ray Crist. I'm here with Miten. We just have this beautiful synergy of things that has brought us to be neighbors here in a Blue Spirit in Costa Rica. A blue zone, a beautiful place where Pachamama is really thriving, and where everything around us is really reminding us of the divine, bring us closer to nature and more closer to actual reality, and in quietness and space and birds and animals. So I love what you shared with our interview earlier. It would be something you would say to all the people watching, to the people you sing to. I feel it's really clear that you're sharing from your soul something that has been your human experience that really brought you into another place or another state.
Let me say something about mantras.
Absolutely.
Because the thing about singing is one thing, but singing the mantras, it takes you into another dimension. You're not emoting. There's no emotional content with mantras. There are in songs. We relate to poetry, etc. But mantras are not poetry. They're scientifically discovered, refined sound bites. They're sound bites. They're scientifically put together many thousands of years ago by the rishis, who were obviously experimenting with how sound affects the body and the mind. And that was their experiments. That's what the Vedas talk of. These sounds, they're not verses, they're collected little pockets of energy which add up to something more than the sum of its parts. And it's like a flower. It's like the scent of a flower when you chant the mantra. It's again the edge. It's like going over the edge and just into the chant and just letting go into the chant. And so once you go in there, you know, I started to look at the mantras. They're a bit like acupuncture needles. You know, you put the needle here for something that loosens something else, and that's that mantra. If a Durga mantra is for the divine feminine, Om Shanti Shanti, divine inner peace. You know, so all these different needles, and that's what a mantra practice is. And that it's like when you start to look at what needle do I need right now? I need one to remove this. I'm feeling stuck. I don't know, I'm just feeling stuck in my life, you know. There's a mantra for that. There's a, you know, there's a whole thing for that. And all you need to do, exactly, yeah. See? And then you say, okay, what I'll do, this is how you do a mantra practice. You say to yourself, I will chant that mantra every night before I go to sleep for 21 nights. I will commit to that. And I guarantee you watch those rocks in your pathway and your blocks in your energy, they start to dissolve. And I don't know how, all I know is that I've seen it and I've felt it and I've received many, and it, you know, confirmations. And Deva has a beautiful voice, but it's not just Deva's voice. It's not just the music. It's not just whatever I do in there. There's something more than all of us. And I think that's what the mantras. Deva was born to the mantras. It was in her life from day one. So it's like, and in conception, so she somehow got this energy just in her bones and her blood. So when she sings, she's never sung in a nightclub, David. She never sung. Can you imagine that?
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
She has an awesome voice. She could do that too, but
but
I feel it's served humanity more that she sings mantras rather than rock and roll.
Yeah.
As much as we all love rock and roll, but
I think she's not very good at rock and roll.
So better. I feel it's that what we were talking about earlier, that the technology. That these tools are technology. I mean, I feel the rishis are shamans that scan the body, that know very well, like the acupuncturist, will know what meridian will open, what each syllable, what organ will vibrate, and actually literally release the toxins from that organ, which is what is already holding your personality, or your thinking is limited because your organs are limited in these, from these toxins. And most of these toxins, we're talking about emotional toxins, or things that have been pushed in us from the collective consciousness, like, you know, inhibitions. You should do this, not do that, be like this, get in a box. And your liver is holding back, your heart, everyone's heart is closed. But those sounds, I feel, is they
well, it opens you and slows you down, and that's not such a required quality in this world. You know, people are not very interested in slowing down, and that's one of the good things about this lockdown in a way. You know, in a way,
it's definitely slowed us down.
It's definitely slowed us down, even though our minds are still running out the room and running around the world. The body can't go. So, you know, slowly, you get to realize if the body stops, the mind also has a chance to stop. If the body's not going over there and over there and down there and over there, and if the body just doesn't go anywhere, the mind, after a while, it starts to go, well.
It follows suit.
It follows, because you can only think for so long about something that's in the past or something visionary that's in the future, you know. And if you don't move, that starts to, you think about it for a while, you get excited in your mind and you follow it, you go over it, but in the end, you just feel like, wait a minute, let me just stop. And what does that mean, you know, to breathe? Because now I'm talking and I'm also feeling like, wait a minute, let me just slow down a minute, you know?
If I may ask you a question, you think that I feel that there's a shift in consciousness that happens through the practices of yoga or shamanic practices practice of yoga, including mainly a lot mantra, that it almost reveals that the inner voice, what I now call the narrator, is not necessarily your only voice. Right? That you reach, when you stop thinking of a story or something that made you angry, or something that made you sad, and that is really creating havoc in the body and some internal organs, and then your brain is running 100 miles an hour. When you do the mantra, it stops the mind from thinking. And it goes back, like the needle, you say in acupuncture, it almost heals the liver from anger.
Yes.
And then it allows enough space to be created for that beautiful divine self that we each and every one of us are to rise.
Isn't it amazing? See, it doesn't have to be a pill.
It does not have to be a pill.
It can actually
proven not to work, actually.
Proven not to work. Right. So there is this commitment. It's needed. Commitment is needed, and because there is no pill, you got to do it yourself. And the commitment's just all the commitment does. It signifies intention, and if you have an intention, in the end, you'll begin to want to do it because you have the intention to do it. And then, in the end, you find you don't need the intention. It's the intention is a distraction. But
That's pratyahara at the end, where you just let go of everything.
You let go again, you're at the edge, and then you just go off into nothingness. And that's where all the techniques, all the mantras, that's where they take us, right? That's where they take us.
And I like what you say about commitment.
Commitment,
Commitment.
I learned this. I learned this in Osho. It was one of his teachings, because he never gave us a dogma. So that meant that we had to decide if we wanted to get up at 5 a.m. to do that meditation. There was nobody saying this is what you do, and he's a great sannyas and he does this. You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. It's up to you. And you can go to bed at night thinking, yes, for sure, I really need to get up and I need to connect, I need to, and then 5 o'clock comes and you pull the covers over you, and you go back to sleep.
And the narrator doesn't want to wake up.
Exactly, the narrator is sleeping for a while, Oh no, the narrator is always saying, let's stay in bed.
Let's stay in bed,
let's stay in bed. That's the voice, that's
the
voice that stops us.
Let's stay the same, let's not change a thing.
Yeah, so the commitment is like, is meaning if you wanna feel the inner peace, and if you want to come to a place of rest, you have to do something. You can't get it without. That's why we talk about the edge and jumping over, because one thing Osho used to say was, if I can get you in, he said, look, I've got nothing to give you. All I can do, you think I'm giving you this knowledge and this energy and this thing. All I'm doing is taking stuff away. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking layers of the onion away so that you can start to be yourself and not the personality that you've been given, but something underneath.
Not all the layers or shells or personas.
Yeah, and he says you won't get that in a book. The only way you'll get that is if I can, by my cunning, I can bring you into chaos. If I can get you to be in the chaos,
I love it.
He would say, my job is over. That's it. You're in the chaos. I've done. My work is done.
You're more in touch with the universe.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you'll see God, and that's where you see God. You won't find God in the box. It's you have to go outside the house. You have to go outside the garden.
Outside the house, outside
Yeah.
structures.
Yeah.
Do you feel also, besides commitment, that there's a certain amount of sacrifice that needs to be made to break the...
It's sacrifice, isn't it? Because you have to sacrifice your comfortable bed. You have to sacrifice the known. You have to sacrifice the habits that you've created that don't serve you anymore. But all these things, You have to give up that stuff, and you can't just do it like that. But that comes back to intention, like you have to have an intention. You can't dream, you can have a vision, but the intention is that's a small step. It's a small step, but it's the first step. So, that's just an acceptance that, wait a minute, there's something more, and my intention is to find out what that is. So I'm going to read, I'm going to do some, whatever I'm going to do, or I'm going to do this practice. I'm going to just do some things to find out what happens if I do that. It's not a big step, and I'm not going to leave my family. I'm just going to do a meditation to find out what happens if I chant a mantra for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Just what happens, and and that's the commitment. I'm going to do that.
Or do this for 21 days for a month, or I will go into Vipassana in 10 days of silence.
Yeah. Well, that's a big step. To go straight into Vipassana that's really tough.
It's a tough one, yeah.
That's boot camp.
Okay, yeah. Not to begin. Don't start with the Vipassana.
Why not?
Do it later on.
I mean, some people, we need Vipassana. It's boot camp. It's like you sit. That's the achievement, where we can sit in meditation for at least 1 hour and not move a muscle, not even if there's an itch. Not even if there's an itch. The body is absolutely, precisely, and utterly still. So if you do it for an hour, by the time you get to 45 minutes, the mind has begun to slow down. Mm-hmm. But that first 45 minutes is, you need to just have your practice. And the way that you're helped in that technique is you have certain techniques that you can do to keep your body still and to keep you centered. And one is watching your breath. That's an old, that's the Vipassana. It's Buddhist technique. You just watch your breath. You watch it come in, you watch it go out, and you just keep watching it. And eventually, the mind has stopped, And it takes a while, but after that, you just hang in nothingness. And you're not even you hanging there, you are the nothingness. It's like the experience of death, that you feel, oh, I'm not this body. And it's not that there's not even an I, but you're having an experience. It's beyond the physical. The mind is not engaged for a minute, and it's like the whirling, the dervish whirl. You do that, you do that, you do that, And it's the most amazing thing. If you do this amazing process, what's happening in the middle is, in the end, you're like this, and the whole world is moving around and round and round and round and round and round, and you are in a still point, and your mind has stopped. You can watch the world go around, and your mind has stopped. You're in a still point. And then, if you think, wow, this is amazing, you fall over.
Then you begin to say.
You just fall over. And then you get up and start again, and that's meditation.
That's true.
That's meditation. You realize, and then and let me come back. So you don't beat yourself up. Oh shit, I've done it again. I'm thinking again. You just let that thought go and come back again. Just watching the breath. Another good one is listening. Just listening to the sounds, always being aware. Like right now, Brian and I, we're in full of sound. It's nighttime, the jungle is quieting down, and we're in an amazing ocean of sound, And if you sit, close your eyes and just listen to the sound, your mind will soon begin to evolve. And then you have the opportunity, and it's called relaxed awareness. You're really chilled out. You're chilled out to the max. You're totally relaxed. You are super aware. You are super aware of the breath. You're super aware of the sounds, and you're really alert, but you're relaxed. And that's the meditation journey.
That is beautiful. I think all our monkeys agree with you.
I think so.
Talking about sounds, I can hear the ocean, the rain.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Would you like to close with the mantra?
Yeah, sure.
I'll take this
Should
right
I
now.
get the guitar?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. And I'll clip this. Oh, what is
It's
it?
just simple green soup. That's all it is, but wait till you get it, man.
That sounds
Watch
like
this.
pure life itself.
It's right, all full of such goodness. I love it so much.
It smells like purity. It's beautiful.
Pouring down, kiss the earth, this holy water, heaven sent, rain of blessing, our holy water, bless the mother, protect you. Bless all creatures, great and small. Bring up blessing, God have mercy.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Miten. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us in a beloved moment. Wishing you to lose yourself in mantra and sink into the technology.
Find yourself, that's even better.
Namaste.